So this is just a quick video to show some features and basically my opinion on the Protos. You know, the price puts people off, so I just sort of thought I'd share my thoughts. I've gone through sort of stages of hating this, then really liking it. Basically, when I bought it, I absolutely loved it. I thought it was brilliant. If you're wearing one of the Petzl ones and then you go to this, it is just such a difference. The thing you'll probably hear everyone say is it's heavy, and to be honest, it's not that heavy, especially once it's on your head and you're actually working. You don't really notice. The only thing that actually does kind of get on my nerves, well, there's two things actually. One is the earmuff, the fact that one side, I can't even remember which one it is now, I think it's this, so the left hand side, they're only held on by this bit of plastic here. So if you chuck it in and out of the van or your climbing kit, a lot of the times that pops off. And even when you try and like open the earmuff to put it on, sometimes it pops off as well. You know, I've seen people before and when this pops off, they basically can't find it. It's just been lost in the van somewhere. So yeah, that's one thing to sort of keep an eye out. Second thing is they do get really hot. So it might be because you know, I've sprayed it and it is just generally a dark colour, but they can get really hot if you're, especially the hot days we've had. I actually made a helmet for the summer. I just bought loads of random parts and actually made that thing just for the summer, just because it was lighter, it was cooler. But now I've actually gone back to this. But yeah, so they're pretty much the two things that I don't like. The earmuff and the fact that it gets really warm. If you spray or even put stickers on your helmet, it kind of voids any warranty. I'm not sure if that's true, but I was actually told that, especially if you're like arbor approved or you're you know, you're a self-approved contractor. You put stickers or spray it and something happens, you're not covered if there's any warranty. But like I say, that is just something I was told, so maybe keep that in mind. We'll just kind of go around the helmet and just kind of show you all the parts. So the first thing is the visor. I've actually just bought myself a new one. My old one is somewhere, but basically all I found was over time it actually split there. It just kind of cracked where that tiny hole is there. And it just split a little bit there, and then over time it got bigger and bigger and bigger. It was pointless having a visor because all the sawdust was going straight through there into my eyes. They're not expensive. I think this is about 50 quid, something like that. But they are metal and the visibility is brilliant. I mean, if I sort of put that through the camera, I don't know what that looks like. And like I say, it's metal, so it's really strong. They do last. I mean, like I say, mine ripped and I replaced this last week, but that's after 2 years. I've had this about 2 years now. The way it fits as well, it has this is actually rubber, this red thing. So when it rains, the water can't get through there. So it is pretty much, as a whole helmet, pretty watertight. The vents on the back, so all you do is push that forward to open the vents, but as soon as you push it down, there is literally nowhere for the water to get in. That's the only vent, it's just that. So it's just okay, so push it forward, they open, and then push it back down and they close. So pretty easy. So earmuffs, again, these are probably what kind of sets this apart from all other helmets. So the earmuffs basically just pop out like this. So you just kind of press that, and then a good and bad thing now, when you're climbing, you can literally just kind of push that and they go straight on your ear, which I think is really cool, because if you're about to cut, it's literally a case of visor down, pop the earmuff, good to go. You just pop it and it goes straight into place. Whereas I know, well, similar to these, so the metal ones, Cask, and there's another Kong. I think they do come with these earmuffs, but these you have to really push them in to do that. You can't, and to get them off, it's quite. You almost feel like you're going to break them. You know, one finger, and they're in. I think that's really cool. The downside to that is if you've got your earmuffs off and you're moving around like a sort of a tight tree, like a conifer maybe, it can keep hitting it and pushing them in when you don't want them to. But that's not really an issue, to be fair. Also, another cool feature is when they're out like this, so when they're both out like that, you can actually slide them back into the helmet. They'd originally be there, and they almost like slide. That is actually, I think, yeah, as far as they will go. So if you're climbing around and you don't need the earmuffs, you can just tuck them back, and then they're out the way. That's it, and then you just push them forward and back in. Another feature is the lock strap at the back. So basically, once you put this on your head, a bit like the sort of Petzls or a lot of helmets that when you haven't got the earmuffs on, you sort of shake your head, they wobble. Whereas this, as soon as you put it on your head, you press that in and it almost squeezes this here on the back of your head. As soon as you put the helmet on, press that down, it will sort of tighten it to your head so it doesn't move, even with the earmuffs off. I remember when I had a Petzl, the Vertex, the only way to keep it feeling secure was to have the earmuffs in all the time. Whereas this, you can just, as long as you've adjusted the settings inside, then it will stay secure. The only other thing I can think of is the strap itself is like magnetic. This does take a bit of getting used to be fair, especially if you've come from like a click helmet, one that just clicks in. It actually kind of, I don't know if you just saw how that went in then. So if I kind of gently, if it'll work. So you see how that's kind of sticking? So as long as you get it kind of in the right area, it just kind of clicks in. It's because there's actually a little magnet in there that almost pushes it into place for you. So I've put a Bluetooth motorcycle headset in there. You can buy Protos's own like Senna thing, but it is very expensive. I think it's about nearly double, maybe even 3 times as much as the actual helmet. This cost me £13 off Amazon, and all I do is just Bluetooth my phone to it, so if someone calls me, it comes through. If I'm on a job where I can listen to music, I'll just listen to music, and you can control it all from there. And all it is just in the earmuff there, I've just put the actual like speaker, and then it's one cable that runs through there to the other one, and then it's just this, which is where you charge it from, which is there. Pretty much sums up how they work. Everything is replaceable as well, which is really cool. So you can get new padding there, padding up here, the headband thing there, that's replaceable, so is that. The actual earmuffs you can buy on their own as well, all these parts. The visor, like I say, I've just bought a new one. The only thing obviously you can't buy is the helmet itself and the sort of honeycomb green protection inside. That I know of anyway. I don't know if you can buy that green stuff. So literally, if anything breaks or you lose anything, or you just generally need something new, you can replace everything. So on to price. I think I paid about 180 quid for this when I got it. I think they're about the same now. They might be a little bit more, like pushing the 200 mark. But if I was to put a new hygiene kit on, which I'm going to soon, it would practically be a new helmet. I mean, all I've done is replace the visor, and it already looks fairly new. All of this has lasted well. There's no like cracks. It's had a tough time, to be fair, and it's still held out. All the straps, there's no frays or rips. The earmuffs are the original earmuffs. All the plastic bits that kind of move are still fine. Done really well, to be fair. So yeah, it might be expensive, especially comparing it to the other ones, but they do last. And you can get them in so many different colours. So you can get them where all these parts are different colours to that, like multicoloured. They do some funky colours, like with sort of, I saw one in a shop where it has like slime down, or you can get flames. There's so many different varieties. So if you're one of those that don't like having the same as other people, then this would be a good option. And the visor themselves, you can get a clear visor. So it's just no mesh, just clear. I think you can get a plastic one as well as this sort of metal one. And you can get photos. So if you have a picture or anything, you can actually get it printed on here. Or they just do some generic like flags. I think they do like a couple of animals on there as well. So you know, you can really customize it, basically different color earmuffs. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it. You know, just pay that little bit extra, and you've pretty much got a helmet for like a good couple of years at least. You know, I've had this 2 years, and I think I'll probably get another 2 out of it at least. Definitely recommend. Good for climbing, you know, because everything's so tucked away. I mean, you can see there how it's so sort of slimline, so there's not much to get caught. Even the vents, you know, especially when they're shut, there's nothing to get snagged or caught. Really good helmet, would definitely recommend if you're thinking of getting one. So yeah, that's the Protos.